What is up? What is up? Welcome back to another NFL Rundown. This is the Friday Props Edition, and I have the Prop King with me. Tyler, you're going to give us plenty of winners today, but let's start by talking about what we saw last night. Wasn't too exciting. What were your thoughts?
I mean, it was the game we all expected, a boring game where Carolina's defense just slowly suffocated them the whole game.
Yeah.
And Houston's offense really had no answer for that. And Sam Darnold did just put enough points on the board to win that game. Sucks we seen McCaffrey go out in the first quarter with that hamstring injury.
Yeah, because that got killed our prop. But, when you lose like that, you don't really beat yourself up. That's definitely people want to talk about variance. That's variance, right? We had a number. We only got one quarter worth of it, and we could still pretty much think that if he did play, that was still a good bet. So, we got hit by variance, but that's fine because we're going to give out plenty of winners today. Normally we do a longer recap, but is there really anything else more to say about that game? Did you upgrade Carolina at all, or I didn't? I upgraded them.
I didn't because you look at the three teams they beat. Nobody really impresses you yet, and it's like you got to beat a real team first for me to trust you. Like, would it surprise you if in 8 weeks they only have 4 wins and they just lose out the rest of their games and go on this nice losing streak?
I'll be honest, it would. I think they're going to be tough all season, and I think they're going to cover a lot of spreads even in the games they lose. So I guess I'm a little higher on them. But we'll see.
Category for me.
Yeah, but you know what they have that you like is those two coaches, right?
Yeah.
You like the head coach and Brady, right? Yeah. So,
yep.
And hey, they better get it done this year because I don't know if Brady's going to be an offensive coordinator for much too longer. You turn Sam Darnold around, and now all of a sudden, right? Hey, come turn my guy around, right?
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see. Probably the last year of Brady as an OC, but we will see. Let us jump into tonight's game. The first game I want to talk about. So this line moved to 7, and it's the Los Angeles Chargers. I almost said San Diego, but no. It's the Los Angeles Chargers. They're heading to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. The line is currently 7 or 6.5, depending on where you shop. Looking at the numbers, that means the total 55.5. That means they expect it to be 31, 24, 24.5, however you want to do that. Tyler, what winning props are you looking for in this game?
In this game, this game is going to be tough because the Chargers defense is actually pretty good. They're going to have guys that can cover Kelsey. They're probably going to put Derwin James on them. And They have some decent corners, and they could bracket Tyreek Hill and kind of cover him too. Yeah. So a little worried about that. But outside of that, Mahomes' passing yards are pretty high in this game. Mm-hmm. I kind of want to lean in under there.
Okay.
But one thing I want to touch on outside of props is everyone knows the Chiefs are 1-11-1 in their last 13 games against the spread.
Yeah.
When's the last time the money's lined up on the other side to bet against the Chiefs with the spread?
I don't know, but
everyone runs into that wall if the Chiefs are just going to blow a team out and they just keep betting on them.
I don't have the ticket percentages, but the line's moving in that favor. It was 6 a couple days ago.
I was listening to a podcast last night, and I don't know how true it is, but they said all the money in Vegas is going towards the Chargers, which kind of makes me lean towards the Chiefs are going to blow them out this week.
Yeah, that must be different because offshore, I got a 7 right now at Bookmaker.
Yeah,
I'm almost wondering if it's going to get to 7.5. So I see a lot of people on the Chiefs. I think that people think that Herbert is going to have problems. And if you did an under, right, you'd be taking a stand here for Patrick Mahomes. So far in the 2 games, he's averaged 340 passing yards, 3 touchdowns a game. He's completing 76% of his throws, averages 10.1 yards per attempt. So why would you think that would switch?
I just think the Chargers have a better defense than the defenses they've seen. Okay. They got into a shootout with Baltimore. Mm-hmm. And then the team they played in week 1, they got into a shootout with them too. So it's if the Chargers defense can slow them down a little bit and keep the ball away from their offense, I think you could definitely go under that number.
Yeah, my way that hits is I think that Bosa is going to just get loose.
Yeah, Bosa. You have Derwin James coming off the inside too, and
also be on Kelsey. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. All right. Well, that is brave. Do you want me to put it in here? What's the exact number you have?
I see 310.5.
All right, and he's averaging 340, so you are taking a stand. But I love it because that's what we have to do in this industry, right? We can't just say, well, this happened 2 times in a row. It's going to happen again. We're looking at an individual matchup. And we talked about this Tuesday. I like grabbing the points here. The Chargers always play the Chiefs tough, even when they're not good.
Yep.
So it's a divisional matchup. Divisional matchups are usually 3.5. I'm getting 7. Okay, I'll take it. Even with them coming off a loss, I'll take it. So I see our guy Twatty's in the chat. He's new to town, but he's teasing the Chargers up to 13. Don't hate that either. Let us jump into the next game that we have on. Oh, did you have any props for the Charger side?
The only thing I was looking at is I noticed that teams have really killed the Chiefs on the ground. Larry Roundtree's touchdowns plus 450. He's the backup running back for the Chargers. Mm-hmm. Now, Eckler's going to get most of that work, but Eckler's not like a bull of a back to where Roundtree can come in and take some of them goal line carries from him. I don't mind that plus 450 on him to score a touchdown.
I don't mind it either. We had talked right before we came on about how Eckler, not doing a lot, only averaging 12 carries a game so far. So a lot of people drafted him real high in their fantasy leagues thinking he was going to be the bell cow, but not much. The way he gets his points is in the air. So 9 times targeted week 2, caught all 9 of them, 61 yards. So maybe he is giving you guys the fantasy stuff, but as far as actually getting the rushing yards, it's been pretty low. So I do like your look there. Let's talk about a game. The Cardinals minus 7.5 against the Jaguars. The total's 52. So this is the same exact number since we've talked on Tuesday. The main difference that I'd see, and forgive me if I leaving something out, but the main one I saw, DeAndre Hopkins didn't practice today. That could have a huge effect on the props, but probably means that you don't have anything until you have that news, huh?
I mean, the only thing maybe I'd target before that is they already have on DK Chase Edmonds receiving prop listed at 26.5.
Okay.
You got to think if Hopkins is out, he gets a little more of the target share.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he caught 2 balls in week 2 and 3 in week 1. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if he jumps up to 5, that 26.5, he's going to go over that.
Well, so I don't have the exact numbers, but I know that he has did 9 targets and 9 catches so far this season. So he's averaging 4.5 targets and catches per game.
Yeah, so I don't mind that at all.
Okay.
And, I mean, other than that, I don't see any receivers on the board for them outside of him, and he's a running back, so no other props there. Maybe an anytime touchdown on him at plus 130.
Okay.
Your only worry there is Kyler Murray poaches it from you and runs it in.
Yeah, definitely. So let's say we do get that news on Sunday that Hopkins is not playing. Are you interested in Rondale Moore or Christian Kirk, or do you think it's just too hard to figure out where these targets go?
I mean, if I had to pick one of them, it would probably be Rondale Moore. Mm-hmm. My only worry is we've never seen him step up and be like a number 1. He's still a rookie. He's only played 2 games.
Yeah.
So it's like you take out the main factor in your offense. It's like, now let's see how good all the other pieces are.
Yeah, and he's kind of like a gadget guy, too. He's not necessarily a route runner, right? He's like, oh, everyone else is getting attention. Let me go underneath and go real fast. Or I got one-on-one coverage. If Hopkins is out, I don't see him getting that same one-on-one coverage, right? He becomes a major target for the opposing defense. So we'll probably wait on Hopkins news to go ahead and make some props for the Cardinals. On the other side, boy, the guy that I just loved coming into the year, just not doing it so far is Trevor Lawrence here, only averaging 5.4 yards per attempt, only completing 50% of his passes, and he's trying to get too much. He averages the most yards per attempt in the air at like 29. He has 29% of his throws are 15 yards or more. So he's the highest in the league for trying to shoot the ball downfield. Normally we like that, but the thing is he's not taking the things that are open underneath, not moving the chains. Jaguars aren't scoring. Do you have any props for the Jaguars?
The only thing I'd look at here is I think Arizona's just going to be able to score at will. Mm-hmm. Trevor Lawrence's pass attempts are 38.5. Now, that number's pretty high. I'd like to get that at like 36. But he's going to be chucking the ball all game here, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him throw it 50 times.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. Yeah. If he does, that's just coaching malpractice.
In that same podcast, I heard the Chiefs stuff about they were talking about the Jaguars. Mm-hmm. And he was saying it almost looks like they brought an offense in from like 1996, and they're making Lawrence run it. They brought no plays over from Clemson that he ran.
Yeah, so we talked about that on Tuesday or Monday. Yeah. I completely agree. And they did, because who do they have? They have Brian Schottenheimer and Darrell Bevell, who kind of ran that archaic offense. in Seattle, but Russell Wilson just bailed him out because he's so good. I think Lawrence will be that good. He's just not there yet. So I'm fine staying away from that game. Let me see what is on our slate next. We have the Bears and the Browns. Browns are minus 7.5. The total is 46.5. So that means Vegas thinks this final score will be 27 to 19.5. Tyler, what do you think of this one?
I mean, looking at this one, obviously a Chubb rushing yards prop I think is worth a play here because I just don't see Chicago staying in this game with Fields under center in his first game. Mm-hmm. Now I see Odell's back this game, so
yeah.
Looking at, I mean, Twatty's already in the chat. He loves his ODB props. Mm-hmm. I see him sitting here at 45.5 on DK. Mm-hmm. But one guy I like better than him on their offense, Rashard Higgins, is sitting at 24.5.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind taking that over because OBJ is getting all the attention with him coming back. And Baker loves spreading the ball around, so Higgins could catch that in one pass if he's open down the field.
Okay, I like that one too. I'm putting it in there. Are we concerned with Beckham not having necessary chemistry with Baker or being on a limited snap count looking at his props?
Maybe a limited snap count. I'm not going to play any of his props in week one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because just of what we've seen him do in Cleveland, he hasn't done anything to impress. Mm-hmm. So I'll be a wait and see approach with him.
All right. Let's go to the Bears side real quick. What do you expect from Justin Fields in this game?
I mean, they tried to baby him and keep him away from Aaron Donald in his first game instead of starting him right off the bat. Mm-hmm. Now his first start's going to be against Myles Garrett. So take that for what it is. This defense, I think, is just going to blow through that offensive line and just give him troubles. So I think he'll be running a lot, but I don't see any props worth playing on their side.
I would think, maybe some unders here.
I would just hate to play unders in Cleveland, blow them out, and then they're just playing garbage time to throw around.
Oh, great point. Like Allen Robinson only on the season, only 8 catches, 59 yards, and a touchdown. That's like one game, not 2 for a star receiver like him. And I think that's because of the offense and the quarterback situation. That's why I'm looking at unders. But yeah, a great point about the blowout there. Might not be the best option. Looking at that, right? So let's see what we have next on this one. The Washington football team versus the Buffalo Bills. Let me throw that banner up. Where would I put that one? Football team. All right. Yeah, we're talking about some football. Bills. Wow. Minus 8.5 on this one. Not the banner I made. Sorry, I'm using 2 different numbers. 46, but at the 8.5, it implied that it was 27.25 to 18.75. Hey, I had like the football team when they were this high number at +9. A lot of people did. Now it's down to +7. If you're trying to get in now, I don't like that number anymore. I like kind of just having those key numbers so you cover like on a 28 to 20, right? Or a 35-27 style, right? You're still getting the cover. So At this point, I don't bet the football team anymore. If it's only 7, to me, it's Bills or pass. I'm passing on it. So give me the winning prop so I can get some action for this game.
All right, looking at these props on the Bills side, mm-hmm. I think Stephon Diggs just has a Diggs game here. They have his target set at 6.5, mm-hmm. or his reception set at 6.5. I think he goes over that number. He caught 9 in week 1, and I think he caught 6 in week 2. In a game, they won 35-0. So if Washington keeps this game even close for half the game, I think he goes flying over that 6.5. And on the other side, I'm looking at Adam Humphries over 3.5 catches. Because you figure Tre'Davious White's going to be all over Terry McLaurin. And Adam Humphries was targeted 8 times last week by Taylor Heineke. Mm-hmm. He should be running all the underneath routes here in this game and catching all them short balls from him.
All right, I'm putting both these in the chat right now. And let me just pull up some numbers on those gentlemen. Yeah, I mean, I think those are fantastic looks, especially Diggs, right? I mean, it's almost like too easy. And then Humphries, where I don't think I have numbers on him right now. Okay, well, I don't have numbers for Humphries, but I still like your look because you have been very good at this so far this season. Definitely saving me for when I'm missing on these sides. One question, and then we'll move on to the next game. What about Logan Thomas? What do you think about that, Tyler?
I don't mind it, but look at his receptions props, 3.5 minus 170. There is no chance I'm laying a minus 170.
Exactly. So maybe if you can find a 4.5 even money, would you take it though? Or is that too high?
No, I would take even money on 4.5. But my only worry there is I'm not sure he's gotten a lot of targets to where he can get up over that 4.5 and get 5 catches in a game.
Yeah, and I would hate to get busted by an injury again, like we did last night, right, on the props. And if anyone's going to get busted by an injury, right, it's Logan Thomas here. Hey, if you find a good number, jump in there. But I think that you found some much better ones than that. Let's move on to the Colts and the Titans. So this is one that originally I really liked the Titans, and the more I look into this, I think this number's right. Did I forget to make? I don't think I made a banner for this. Dang it! All right, no banner for this. But we will go straight into it. The Titans are now minus 5.5. Totals 44 points. That would make it 26.75 to the Tennessee Titans. 21.25 for the Indianapolis Colts. Tyler, what are some winning props?
Looking at the props in this game, I mean, we still don't know who's playing quarterback on the Indianapolis side.
Mm-hmm.
We swore it was going to be Jacob Eason all week, and then Carson Wentz goes out there and practices. So
yeah,
they don't even know who's going to start quarterback up until Sunday. But, I mean, looking at how bad this Tennessee defense has been, I wouldn't mind a Jonathan Taylor over 62.5 rushing yards. I could see him blowing that number out of the water.
Yeah.
And then Naheem Hines' receiving yards are set at 24.5. Regardless of who plays quarterback here, they're going to target him with the ball out of the backfield. So I like that. And his receptions is 3.5 plus 135. So you're getting a nice juicy price on that.
All right. What was the number plus what?
135.
All right. So yeah, guys, if I put them in the chat, it's just play it, minus 110. Don't go past minus 120. And then I'm gonna put in the chat the plus money ones because if you get that at minus 110, we don't like it there, right? So if you see Hines over 3.5. Make sure you're getting plus money for it, okay? Because there's a reason we selected that, and it has to do with the implied value, at plus 135, right? I mean, it's just so much nicer. So definitely like those looks. Was there anything else that you liked there?
No, not really in that game.
All right. Yeah, I have no problems moving on to that one quickly because, like you said, I think it's tough to tell. So all week I kept that there's no way Carson Wentz plays, right? Now he might play. Do you think some of this has to do with him leading the locker room and maybe some reputation around him? Do you think he's pulling an Anthony Davis and going out there when he shouldn't have?
I mean that, and I think he's just trying to force himself to the playoffs.
I mean, didn't it feel like during that? I mean, I know it's NFL rundown, but during the NBA season, right? That game that Davis played, didn't he just seem like he was going out there to shut everyone up?
That, and plus, I mean, I feel like that was LeBron kind of forcing him out there.
I wonder if Wentz is doing the same thing because I think he's feeling some of the same heat. So good thing. All right. So sorry I missed that banner, but the banner is back for this one. The Saints are catching 3 at the Patriots. The total's 42.5. That makes the Patriots 22.5 and the Saints 20. What are your winners for this game, Tyler?
Looking at the props on this one, the only thing I'd play in this game would maybe be a Damian Harris anytime touchdown or a James White.
And what's the
outside
Harris
of
number?
that, they're both 1 plus 125. But I mean, outside of that, no plays in this game because I'm much not sure how this game plays out.
Yeah, so let's since we don't have a lot of props, why don't you just talk to me? I think that we know what we're gonna get from the Patriots, right? Right? I mean, it's almost like Tom Brady light when he first started there. You remember he wasn't doing a lot the first years. I think he's close to having the same amount of touchdowns thrown in his 40s as he has in his 20s. Half of that is the rule changes, and just half of that is the style of offense he's playing in. So I think that we can know exactly what we're going to expect from them. They're going to be a hard-fought team. Now, the question in this game is the Saints. What do you expect from them? Does Jameis bounce back? And the idea might be that this could be a really up-and-down team this year as it takes the personality away from the steady Drew Brees, and now it's got kind of that up-and-down personality of Jameis Winston. What do you expect from the Saints in this game?
Yeah, I mean, just like you just said, I think they're going to be up and down all year. It's all going to depend on how Winston plays. And I mean, everyone wanted to take that week 1 performance and write him in as he's back. He's a good quarterback. Mm-hmm. He threw 5 touchdowns, but he also didn't break 150 yards. He was handed good field position to where he was able to run the ball on the field and dump in a little 5-yard pass. So his stats look good at the end of the game, but we had to see it another week, and we watched last week where he was back to the old Winston, just chucking passes into triple coverage, getting interceptions. So now you're going to play a Belichick defense who's known to just make quarterbacks confused and throw places where they don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't like that for Winston.
Yeah, it's almost like the LASIK wore off, right? Let's jump into the next game. The Falcons are catching 2.5 in New York. I said that I like the Falcons at +3. Obviously, a lot of other people did. Is it's taking a little money? What are the best props for this game?
I was looking. The only one I was looking at in this game was a Sterling Shepard over 5.5 receptions at +110. He's caught 9 passes in the first week and 8 in the second. My only worry there is Evan Ingram could likely play, and
How
he
many
could take
receptions was that?
5.5.
Okay.
If Evan Ingram doesn't play, that's an auto bet for me. But
Okay.
if he's in, I'm probably staying away from it because I
Okay.
could definitely see Daniel Jones targeting him a lot more and
Let me
spreading the
throw
ball
that in the
out.
chat then. If Ingram's out, what do you think of Daniel Jones in this game?
I think he should play all right, but it is Daniel Jones. And looking back at his stats, he's gone like 2 good games, and then he shits the bed the third game, and it's
Yeah.
happened like multiple times throughout a year where it's 2 good games, 1 bad game. Well, he just played 2 good games.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't think that the tape is as good as the stats. I
Yeah.
think he looks a lot better in the box score the next morning than he does actually watching the game. So that should be quite interesting. What else did you have any on the Falcons side? I mean, is Kyle Pitts finally going to break out?
Nah, I'm not touching any Kyle Pitts props.
All right, maybe a sacks prop for Matt Ryan, Mr. Statue.
I could see that. I don't have any. I don't have any available to me, but I could definitely see that.
Hey, maybe total sacks, right? This might be one of the 2 worst offensive lines in the league, right? Me and you might be able to get a sack out against these guys here. So that'll be something for us to look at as well. Let us go to your hometown, Tyler. Let's talk about them. Let's talk about the Cincinnati Bengals, who we faded preseason. They're sitting at 1-1. We don't like it, but at least they lost last week. They're heading to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. Look ahead. This probably would have been like what -7. I mean, the Steelers definitely. Ben's not looking good. Deontay Johnson's out. What news do you have for us on Pittsburgh on this team, and what are you looking at?
They're missing a lot of pieces. They're missing 2 guys on defense too. TJ Watt's also questionable. I don't
Yeah.
think he's going to play.
Mhm.
So, I mean, Ben not being 100%, that's no surprise to anybody. But
Right.
with a banged up offensive line, the Bengals don't have the best pass rush, but I think they'll be in there and knocking them down. So, watch out for him to go out of the game at some point. But this game, I actually think the Bengals have a very good chance at winning.
Yeah, you said that on Tuesday.
The Steelers' secondary is just bad. Like this defense is front 7 built. Like Joe Hayden's old. He's dust.
He's old,
He can't really cover. Their second corner's name is Jason Pierre, who was a practice squad player. So who you covering here? Now you got Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, and maybe T. Higgins coming in.
T. Higgins is out.
Is he out? I seen listed doubtful. He may play.
Oh, okay. Okay. My bad. I thought for sure he was out. My apologies. My prep wasn't the best this morning, so we'll keep an eye on that. But because of the unknowns, well, so Johnson's out for sure, right? Does that mean you're targeting any Steelers receivers, or do you think Ben's just going to have problems?
I'm not touching anything on that side of the ball with the quarterback being hurt.
Yeah. All right. We will get to Chris Godwin here really soon. Yeah, I think that was a tough game props wise. But that'll be the great thing about being a member of Run Pure Bets is this news fleshes out as we know for sure is Higgins in or out. Is TJ Watt in or out, right? Then Tyler's going to give you the exact look. The numbers won't move too much by then, so he's still going to be able to get in at a good number. And if you're a member of runpurebets.com, you're going to see the plays on the spreadsheet. You're going to, like right now, we're speculating. We're talking we're talking our way through them, right? Hey, if we thought about this, hey, if we thought about that. But by then, we'll know that it's tried, tested, true. It meets Tyler's approval. And if it meets Tyler's approval, I'm betting it. You should too. Use the promo code BETS25 off to become a member of runpurebets.com. Let's head on over to the next game. What do we got here? Oh, the Ravens. The Ravens are going to go ahead and play the Detroit Lions. Tyler, what do you think about this game?
I mean, we know the Ravens beat up on these sucky teams, and they love to run the ball. So give me all of Tyson Williams props here. I mean, 11.5 receiving yards. He's went over that in both of his games. His rushing yards are set at 56.5. He's went over that in his last game. My only worry is his snap share came down a little bit last game with Latavius Murray learning the playbook, but his yards per carry is high enough to where I think he could blow this number out of the water with 10 plus carries.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm them, I'm using I'm using Tyson early in the game to build that lead, and then I'm using Latavius to keep that lead. So in baseball parlance, Tyson's my starter, but Murray's my closer. But if you're right, they're going to run the score up, and you should get it there. So give me these numbers on Williams so I can throw them in the chat for everybody.
56.5 on his receiving or on his rushing yards, and 11.5 on his receiving yards.
I always worry about misspelling receiving. All right, there you go. They are in the chat. Now, on the other side of this game, the Lions. Hey, Jared Goff, we can argue about how he's really played, but statistically, he's looked good. Were you targeting any Lions in this game?
The only thing I'd maybe target here is to go back to the Jared Goff pass attempts prop. I wouldn't mind taking that.
Just the idea that they'll be down on the game script?
Yep, and he's just going to be throwing the ball a ton. And outside of that, I mean, TJ Hawkinson's receptions are set at 5.5. That's been one of his main targets. But another guy he's loved is DeAndre Swift.
Yeah.
And I see 4.5 plus 120 on him. My only worry there is Jamal Williams could eat into that target share.
Yeah, he definitely could. Let's talk about Jared Goff real quick. You know, we talked about the good numbers. Through 2 games, 584 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, and you spoke about attempts. League high, 93 attempts there. So that's great stuff. And DeAndre Swift was the other one that you were looking at, right?
Yep.
Last game he had Williams had 3 catches last game for 37 yards. Swift had 4 for 41 in the last game. But you think that picks up, huh? Do you want to put Swift in the chat?
Yeah, you can.
And what was it? Over 4.5 receptions?
Yep, plus 120.
Yeah,
I think
that
he'll be
plus
playing
money
from behind
really...
a lot, just a lot of dump offs here. And you figure the Ravens love to send pressure, so he's going to want to get that ball out quick.
How long do you think that Rob Rock coach can last if they just keep getting their rear ends kicked every week?
1 year.
You think he's out after the year?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it'll last a little longer. I'm just wondering if the teams are going to buy out. And you know how they're like playing the games close and they're tough right now, although they had a bad second half against Green Bay, but I think the rain had something to do with that, right? A dome team in the rain. I'm just wondering if the effort will start to wane and they start to phase this guy out, right, as the season continues to look bad for them. So, right, I like those looks there. Another game that could potentially be the blowout, and fortunately, I did make the banner for this one. The Jets catching 10.5 in the Broncos. Boy, so normally old school me, right, says 10.5 on a total of 42. Take it. But if you've watched the Jets this year, doesn't seem like the right side. What do you think about this game, Tyler?
I mean, Denver. I think Denver just handles them here. Denver's defense is just going to be too much for Zach Wilson.
Even with Chubb out?
Yeah, I mean, they're still going to be getting pressure back there. Their secondary is still pretty good. Mm-hmm. The only thing I like here is Teddy Bridgewater over his passing yards. I seen 245 this morning. And looking at that, I mean, he's covered that number in both games.
Right.
He has the highest yards per attempt by quarterback, I'm pretty sure. Or it's either yards per completion or yards per attempt. And, I mean, against this Jets defense, he should just torch them. Like, I could see them hanging 30-plus points here. Him throw for 300-plus yards and, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. So it's really too bad what Zach Wilson's going through, because you watch the kid. He's a joy to watch, and you see the talent. And then, boy, it just seems like the NFL is getting almost like baseball, where these bad teams are really, really bad. Maybe do I have some numbers here for Bridgewater to go over? No, I don't have a lot of great stuff up here. Just like you said, he's at one of the highest yards per attempt, which is wild, right? Because his earlier reputation was just the check down king, right?
Yep.
So good for him to go ahead and learn through his time in the league. And one thing that they've always said about him is it's a joy to be in the locker room, and he's a hard worker and sets a great example for the team. So seems like he's fitting in pretty well in Denver. Don't mind staying away from this game overall. My guess is there probably won't be too much attention on it on Sunday as well. With all the games going on, it just seems that if the Broncos get a big lead, it'll be like, oh, that's exactly what we thought, and we'll be paying attention to some of these more exciting games. So, I don't need to watch a terrible game and sweat something out. We talked about your team, Tyler. Let's talk about my team, the Raiders. I was worried they weren't gonna. I was worried that they were gonna have to lay 4.5 Woke up this morning to quite the joy while I was making these banners. I said, "Oh, four. I'm time to bet it because it was 4.5 when it reopened and I didn't have it in yet." So I like my home team here. I don't bet them very often. The reason I'm doing this is I'm fading this Dolphins offensive line. Even though the Raiders don't have the pass rush, it's gone from absolutely terrible to maybe average or above average. The offensive line's a wreck. They're talking about moving everybody around, and so I got lucky. Why did the Dolphins take this money? Because people are saying, hey, the Brissett to two is not much of a downgrade. And I would agree for this week total, right? But the thing is, you're going to get basically the best Brissett you're going to get, right? And Tua obviously has so much more potential, which is why they'd rather have him out there. But I do like the Raiders in this game. I was happy that the people that love the points. Thank you, Joey Work, for grabbing that number for me. And what numbers are you looking at for this game, Tyler?
The only two props I was looking at in this game would be, of course, Darren Waller's receptions prop at 6.5, even money, and then Hunter or not Hunter.
What's his attempts? I mean, you can't bet targets, can you?
No, you can't bet targets.
He's at like 19 targets. All right, so 6.5 receptions, you said?
Yep, for Darren Waller, and then on the other side, it'd be Myles Gaskins over 3.5 receptions, because I could just see Brissett dumping off the most.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, with that, if Teddy's not going to check down, we know Jacoby will, right? So.
Yep.
All right. So let me get that one in there. That was Gaskins, right? All right. What do you think of this game? Do you think I'm on the right side, or do you think that this could be a short cover, or maybe even a win for Miami?
I think the Raiders win, but I could see them covering the game. I mean, everyone watched the Raiders win 2 games they probably not shouldn't have, but everyone thought they shouldn't have.
They were dogs, right?
So everyone's going to run to the window to bet them right here. So I'd watch out for that.
Yeah, I really, I was concerned, and I don't bet the Raiders very often, and I do think that there is a big letdown spot in their future. I just don't think it's this week, and I think that offensive line is going to make it a little easier to not let down as they're able to get pressure and blow them up and get Derek Carr some good field position. So not often that I bet my Raiders. In fact, a couple years ago, I actually went and bought Raiders gear after every game because I felt so bad. I was betting against my favorite team every week and making so much money. But, I think that, there's something good in the air they got going on in Las Vegas. So we're all happy to see that. Now, I know you're not going to bet them, but just talk to me because you know about these individual players a little more. Ruggs, Edwards. What do you think of this receiving core for the Raiders?
I think Edwards is pretty good, but I mean, Ruggs is just deep ball or bust for me. I mean, we watched him try and run a couple other routes against Pittsburgh. He dropped everything.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, there's the 90-yard bomb the car loaded up where he's running down the field by himself.
Yeah. So, I mean, in my mind, he's great value Tyreek Hill?
Great value Deshaun Jackson, we call him.
Oh, that's even better. They wanted to be Tyreek, but instead it's Deshaun Jackson. Hopefully, without all the gang affiliations that caused Chip Kelly to run out of town. Do you remember when Chip Kelly called him a gang member?
Yeah.
That was one of the most ridiculous moments in NFL history. So, all right. Well, thank you for giving me, the background. Oh, hold on. I forgot to ask you about the one other guy, Hunter Renfrow. Great value Julian Edelman. What do you think of his? He's got 11 catches through 2 games.
I mean, I like him as a player. My only worry here is I think a lot of that underneath stuff might be gone in this Miami game, and that's where you get a lot of corners. That damage.
Yeah. I think it's Waller because I think that these corners can cover, Edwards, Ruggs, and Renfrow. I think they're going to have problems going against Howard and Jones. But I said that last week about Stephon Diggs. So, hey, who really knows about how well these corners and these coverages are going to work. But that game should be a lot of fun. I'm actually really looking forward to that. But let's talk about the game that the whole nation is looking forward to. And that, I'll tell you what, Tyler, you kept me off it. I like the Rams. I talked to you. You like the Bucks. I talked to all my other buddies that are sharp. They all like the Bucks. You know what they said to me? No play. Time to be a fan. And maybe just tell you guys on the live show. Talk to me about props in this Buccaneers game. Buccaneers are -1 right now.
I mean, props in this game are going to be tough because all the numbers are set so high with the total being 55.5.
Exactly.
And this is the game everyone's lining up to bet. Everyone wants to bet overs in this game. Yeah. Everyone wants to bet everything in this game.
Which is wild to me because I think these are they're 2 top 10 defenses. I mean, I don't have the stats right in front of me, but just on my head, it's like, I would even say top 5. I just don't want to use hyperbole when I don't have the numbers in front of me. But I mean, 2 great defenses, and we're seeing a 55.5. Where do you think they're getting that idea from? Just that these offenses are that good?
Yeah, I mean, the offense is that good. And I mean, the type of football you see nowadays, that number is going to go over regardless of how good the defense is.
Yeah,
You might have two of the best defenses on the field, but you also have two of the best offenses. So
yeah,
pick your poison here.
yeah. And in the new NFL, 20 years ago, defense won championships, but not anymore.
Yep.
And I know that since AB was in Pittsburgh, you guys are pretty good friends. Have you talked to him, and do you think he's going to be out there on Sunday?
No, I don't think it will be. You have to test negative twice within 24 hours. I don't think he does that.
So in that case, like, how do you think that this affects all these targets? Do you think Evans gets more? Is it Scotty Miller season? What do you think, Tyler?
I think Scotty Miller could get some catches, but I just think it gets spread out more to Godwin and Evans. Maybe you see some more of the tight ends, OJ Howard and Gronk get involved. Cameron Brate.
Yeah, yeah. Gronk's only 1 year older than Travis Kelce. Doesn't it seem like he's just so much older? It's just
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah, that's ridiculous that they're only 1 year older.
Yeah, just wild. All right, let's talk about the last game on the afternoon slate. That is the Seahawks, who are laying 1.5 now to the Vikings. I've even seen some twos, so that's been flipping all around. It just feels like it's a pretty 50-50 game. Seahawks took early money, and then the comeback on the Vikings. Although I wonder if that comeback was the people betting the Vikings straight up or just teasing them all, getting up to 8 there at the +2. But even at +1.5, I think that if you do like the Vikings, it could be a nice teaser leg. I'm scared of putting this team in a teaser leg, but I'm not scared to say I think they're the best 0-2 team so far. What props do you have for this game, Tyler?
I mean, looking at this game, I really don't want anything to do with this game.
Okay.
Because, I mean, the Vikings being banged up on their side, Dalvin Cook might not play, and I just don't trust Seattle right now after what we've seen last week.
Mm-hmm.
If Cook plays, I think the Vikings can definitely win this game, but
Right.
it's one of the things we'll probably see him play a quarter and a half, then he's in the tent, and he comes out and rushes the ball 3 more times, and he's back in the tent. So that's about it for me on this game.
So, as far as the total goes, though, it's the same as the Rams total. I'd be much more comfortable betting this total, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I could agree.
I mean,
there.
going over at least.
Nah, no, I disagree there.
Why is that?
I would go under here because I can
Oh,
see
wow.
I can see the offense is sputtering a little more here than the other game.
Really? See, I thought they were just going to score left and right. I mean, like, Patrick Peterson isn't the same player he used to be, and they have Rashad Breeland, right, who's looked absolutely terrible. So that's a terrible secondary. It seems like it's going to be really nice for Lockett and DK, right? I mean, DK is just looks like he came straight out of WWE. And then on the Vikings side, right, Jefferson's been real good, and then of course Thielen's Mr. Solid, Mr. Reliable. And then who's this new cat they got? He's
KJ
a rookie.
Osborne.
KJ Osborne. What do you think of him? And maybe we should be looking there. 12 catches for 167 yards so far this season.
If you could find props on them,
they don't put him up.
They barely list props for Adam Thielen. Like,
why is that?
You only get Jefferson and you only get Cook on that offense usually most of the time on DK.
That's weak. Okay. Well, then that'll keep us away from that. So if you were to bet a side, would you take the Vikings? I haven't bet this game.
I would. But my only worry is Dalvin Cook goes out, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah. I mean, he's one of the few guys that makes a difference, right? So I would definitely agree with you there. My original lean was Seattle, but you're right. I mean, that was really troublesome to watch them do that. And then the reason it's troublesome is because you've had the feeling that it's happened so many times before, that it's just, it seems like it's a Seattle thing to be in complete control of the game, statistically control the game. If you watch the game, it seemed like they're winning. And then at the very end, it's like, wait a second, I didn't hit my teaser. They didn't win straight up. You got to be kidding me. So maybe a little bit of buyer's remorse after being on them last week. But, I'm probably fine staying away from there, and we can go head to head on the total because I think there will be points. Tyler, let's talk about Sunday night. Packers -3 versus the 49ers. This total's 50.5. I love the 49ers here. This is another one where I woke up and I felt that I got lucky because it was another one that I'm waiting all week to bet, and I got to the number that I want. I didn't want to lay 3.5, although I think the Niners are going to blow them out, so I would have. But hey, no reason to invest early in the week. I didn't mind if it went to 4, but I was hoping to get this 3. Now it's here. I like the Niners, and this should say +3, so let me edit that real quick. What do you think of this game?
I think this game's tough because I see where you're coming from on the San Fran side and seeing them winning the game. But a lot of them pathways that they went in the last 2 years, 2 years ago, and they beat Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a corner that can cover Adams anymore. They don't have. I mean, their pass rush is still stout, but it's not as good as it used to be. They aren't running the ball.
It's still pretty good though.
They aren't running the ball halfway as good as they were that year. Jimmy G only had to throw the ball 10 times that game. They beat Green Bay.
I think it was 6.
Yeah, he only completed 6 of them.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. So 6 completions, 10 attempts. Okay.
Yeah. So,
right.
I mean, I could see with the Packers still being like up in the air, we're not sure on them. I could see San Fran winning this, but just give me the over in this game.
Yeah, and just a quick wrap up on my handicap here. A lot is being made about these 49ers running backs being hurt, but I'll tell you what, if I'm going to take a cluster injury anywhere, I'm going to take it at running back. We can plug and play these guys. All these guys are just studs, you know. That's why 6th-round running backs are awesome, and you rarely see a 6th-round offensive tackle, right, or a 6th-round cornerback make a big effort, but you see 6th-round running backs all the time. What was that guy Hubbard last night? 4th-round pick? He looked pretty good. He wasn't in any of my fantasy leagues this morning. I slept on that one. So I'm not as worried about the running back injuries, but here's the injury I am worried about. And maybe they got news and that moved the line as well because I didn't see anything today. But I know that the Packers left tackle had been missing practice there, and I would rather be down 4 running backs than my left tackle. So you get Boza against the backup left tackle. The other thing is, hey, if Rodgers gets down, is he going to make more business decisions, right? He almost reminds me of those guys getting out of the way in the NBA when they're getting dunked on, right? Making business decisions. Felt like he did that in week 1 against New Orleans and kind of felt like he did that in the NFC Championship game 2 years ago. So any concern there for Rodgers?
I mean, that's always a concern if the Packers are getting blown out. But if your game's scripted in for the 49ers to blow them out, that's something you want to see. But yeah. I don't see it happening.
Yeah, so me and Twatty are going head-to-head on this one. He's taking the better quarterback in 3 points. All right, you know, we'll send each other some tweets and have some fun with this. Otter is not with me either. Can't lay it with Jimmy G, even though the guy all he does is win. Like, he wins football games, and, I mean, pretty good at dating, too. What do you think of this one? Rodgers over 0.5 interceptions. I kind of like it. What do you think, Tyler?
I'm not betting that, just for a simple fact that Rodgers throws like 3 interceptions a year, and I'm not trying to close my eyes and throw a dart to when he's going to actually throw that interception.
Yeah, and I think that he might just end up taking a bunch of sacks rather than throwing interceptions. And do I trust any of these guys? You know, you talked about it, you know, this defense is going to be predicated on the front 7, getting pressure, and not allowing the routes to develop. I don't know if they necessarily have the playmakers in the secondary that they used to have. So, yeah, I'm fine laying off that one as well. So there we have it. We've done it a little quicker, a little more efficient this week. You know, Tyler told me to knock off reading 1,000 stats on every player. We're just giving the more relevant ones. And that way you're able to get this quicker, easier, and easier to digest. Remember, go over to runpurebets.com. Join runpurebets.com. Use the promo code BETS25 off to become a member and get the access to the picks that Tyler has decided upon that are the very best that we discussed today. Tyler, do you have anything else you'd like to talk about before we get out of here?
Nope, just a big weekend ahead of us. We got UFC, we got football, we got NASCAR, we got a lot of stuff to bet on this weekend. So hopefully we make a lot of money.
Is this the best sports time of the year? And hey, Tyler, the NBA is like less than 27 days away. Preseason starts in like 10 days. Now, I'm not going to bet preseason, but you better believe I'm going to have my eyes on it, right? Because we know what the big guys are going to do, right? But this is where we find out like the little Mikael Bridges, right? You know, guys like that. Hey, this guy might make an impact this year, you know, and I think it's going to help with our season-long handicap. So, you know, that'll be something fun for me to watch. And guess what? No pressure because I'm not going to have any picks on the games. I'm just going to be taking notes on the role players. So what a time to be a sports fan and what a time to be a member of runpurebets.com. So head on over there. Also, guys, and thing that you need to do is subscribe to this channel. So when we go live giving out this information, you get the notification, you're here in the chat with us, or you're able to bookmark it and catch it on your drive home, you know, your nice relaxing drive home. Especially, we hope that you're listening to us on Friday night, no traffic, get home, grab a drink, start your weekend. So please, like the video, subscribe to the channel, check out what we have going on at runpurebets.com. Tyler, are you going to be on the live show giving out winners this weekend? And if so, what time is it? Do you know?
Yeah, I'll be on Sunday at the 1 p.m. slate. It's for the 4 p.m. slate, too.
Wonderful. So I will be tailing you guys. I got a lot of stuff going on, but I'm going to be looking to get back involved in the live shows when everything settles down with me in my life. And I will be grabbing the winners out of the Discord, right? So if you're like me and you're going to be real busy on Sunday, well, guess what? I get an alert when they make a play on the live show. So even if I can't be listening to the YouTube, I got it. I place a bet. I go back to what I'm doing. They're not too mad, at T-ball at baseball if I just pull up my phone real quick because I got the alert and place a bet back in my pocket. I'm winning money while I'm out in the sunshine. So you could be doing that too if you're a member of runpurebets.com. Tyler, thank you for showing up today. Really, I feel like John Stockton and you're Karl Malone. I just feed you the ball and then you just get it done, scoring points left and right. So much fun doing the show with you. We will be back Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern, and that's when we have Titletown with us. We'll be talking about the Monday Night Football game. Title will give us a great core. Tyler will give us a props for Monday night. And then what I like to do is take away all the hot takes from the week that we saw yesterday on Sunday. And then we talk about the games and how we're affecting our handicaps moving forward. Are we moving a team up in our power ratings? Are we moving them down? Do we think that this is a proper narrative or is it something that's being blown out of the water? So hopefully you can join us for that. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. See you soon. Run Pure.